This is going to be an interesting one because how do you improve upon perfection? What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Brian Reacts, where I review pro form and amateur form alike. Today we're checking out the form of none other than Levi Stout. Levi got started in disc golf when he was just 8 years old, and he has evolved into being a force of nature. I actually watched Levi firsthand as he demolished an entire crew of some of the best American pros at the recent New Zealand National Disc Golf Championship back in February of this year. Levi found me through a video and he said, "Brian, I have really unique form and I was wondering if you might be able to take a look at it." That's the focus of today's video. Let's get to it. Okay, Levi, about a week ago, you sent me your form. You were very kind to reach out over YouTube. I'm actually a big fan of yours. I watched you live and up close as you pretty much dominated New Zealand Nationals back in February. And huge congratulations on that. When you reached out to me, I was actually really intrigued because I've been covering both amateur and pro form, and I would definitely put you in the pro form category, unequivocally. It's evident to me that you crushed the disc, and it's very funny that you describe your form as being, I think, unusual. I assure you, your form is not unusual in any way. In fact, I would call it pretty much textbook. I looked at it frame by frame. I sent it to other people to scrutinize also, and really, nobody could find any fault at all. That said, everyone can always improve a little bit, and I believe that I've targeted one specific thing in your mechanics that we can focus on today. So I'm going to talk about that. As far as I know, Simon says that you can throw around 70 miles an hour, and it looks to me like you could hit those velocities. Certainly a high 60s, so you really don't need a lot of extra speed. That said, anytime you can reach a basket with a slower disc, it is an advantage. If you can essentially club down to a mid-range or maybe even a 3-speed putter, you get a lot more control. More importantly, you don't get the same kind of skips and ground action you expect with faster, wider rim drivers, and that is an advantage as well. So maybe this tutorial can give you a little bit of extra speed. It may be hard to integrate with your current mechanics because they're so immaculate. As soon as people look at your video, they're gonna see all of the telltale signs of perfection. You are beautifully balanced and gliding. In your slow-mo video, you are perfectly framed over the instep of your back foot. You're on that the whole time as you glide to the right and build the strength of your throw from that leg reinforcing you, creating a huge, beautiful twisting offset. Your left arm knows exactly where to go. It is moving up against your body in advance of the swing. And your swing begins at perfect extension with the disc just floating and hovering in midair. As your whole body gets ready to take the energy and your foot comes down, and you actually begin to de-weight your left foot as the right foot is touching down, which is very difficult to do mechanically. A lot of people say you need to be fully down into your heel before you begin the swing. That's actually not true. And there's tons of people who bomb the disc who are already beginning the weight shift as the toe is coming down or as the ball is coming down. You do it as well, and it looks textbook beautiful. As soon as you're down on that heel, everything coming forward under perfect bracing and balance. Beautiful linear leverage. Disc just really in a biomechanically advantageous position all the way out to the hit, and you're pivoting beautifully, de-weighted on your heel, everything on the trailing side locked behind, stabilizing you, counterweighting as you're on your heel, and the disc perfectly hitting at maximum extension right at about 1130. Downrange, ballistic. You come out of it with perfect balance and you stand up. Really nothing to criticize. So what can I focus on today? What can I improve? There's one thing. A lot of people have been focusing on this idea of interior rotation of the throwing arm. What people are talking about right now, this idea of exaggerated internal rotation, is something I've been focusing on a lot. It has produced novel form in my own biomechanics. As I've gotten better and better at understanding this arm position, my swing has gotten increasingly energetic. Most importantly, I feel like I'm winning the fight against the disc for the first time. Again, if you like these videos, please leave some comments. I will respond and read everything. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do that as well. All right, so I've got 3 objects in my hand, and I assure you, I'm not going to attempt to juggle them. That would be awful. I have 2 lacrosse balls. These weigh about 145 grams each, so kind of like the weight of a very lightweight disc. And I've got a rock here as well, nice round rock that weighs about double a disc. What was extremely helpful for me, and something that I want you to think about the intention of what would it feel like to take this ball and throw it directly down the line backhand. How does your body have to move to throw a ball down the line backhand? So as you see, I'm braced up, feet nicely offset a little bit, just like a backhand. And my intention, to go slowly, is to thrust the ball down the line at the net right here. I'll do that again. Now I'll do it with the heavy rock, although I can't throw it particularly hard because it'll go through the net and hit the wall. If you hear a loud bang, that's what happened. Okay, that didn't happen. Good stuff. What's really cool about this drill is that this drill, done correctly, forces you to keep your elbow above your hand from all the way to the apex of the backswing, all the way through the hit point. And if you look at the form of a bunch of absolute crushers in this sport, Albert Tamm is a really good example. If you go and look at Albert Tamm's mechanics, particularly from behind, it almost looks like he's throwing the disc under his arm. It looks so strange. And yet when the disc pops out from Albert Tamm's enormous 6'4" bazooka body, it can come out at 80, 81 miles an hour. The guy's an absolute monster. Another guy who comes to mind is Emerson Keith. Emerson Keith has a little bit of a swoop here, but as soon as he begins to pull on the disc, his elbow is up so high in the swing. It looks like this at the hit. Elbow way up here. Why is his elbow up here? The reason why we're aiming to do this is because the longer you can keep the elbow above the hand, the stronger this pull actually is. The faster you can exert energy on the disc, the more efficient the pull is against the disc, the more linear the force production is. The arm is just more biomechanically powerful in that position. It's basically a pronated, internally rotated position. That's what you feel when you throw a ball down the line. How do we replicate this exact same feeling with a disc? I assure you it's not easy to do. I've been trying to do it for months. It wasn't until I held those objects and threw them that way that I began to feel it. It immediately translated to a disc. What I'm working on right now, and something that you can do yourself, Levi, or anyone else who's watching, is backswing normally. But as you're extending the backswing, start to create interior rotation, rolling the forearm, pronating the hand and the forearm towards yourself, so that when you reach maximum extension at the backswing, the disc is hanging down at maybe a 45-degree angle. A lot of people have been calling this the briefcase carry. And I've been trying to do the briefcase carry myself. The problem is that when I set up in this position, kind of looking like James Proctor in the backswing, as soon as I got here, it just felt weird and slack. And I couldn't bring the disc back up and throw it down the line in a way that felt powerful. So what worked for me was the intention of actually rotating my arm, twisting it downward, out, and down as I'm extending my shoulder. Down, and then fighting with yourself to maintain that protraction as long as possible. Disc out, pulling it into your body, and then as you begin to turn your body, the disc is basically just spring-loaded up against you, tight against your core. As you rotate forward, and then it springs out away from your body with the nose very down in the right spot. And this is one of those things where when you have the feel, you really know it. So I'm going to be focusing on backswing flat, pull the disc down. You can't really know until you look at the video in slow motion. The main focus of this, of course, is keeping the elbow above the hand at all times. If you can get into this position, as you pull the disc in, you have so much more leverage, so much more biomechanical advantage against the disc. Out, pull it down, keep it across your chest. As long as possible, let it pivot out. Your form works very well for you. You're a 10-24 rated player, one of the best players in the world, certainly the best player in New Zealand and probably in the entire Oceania region. But there's a little bit more meat on the bone there if you want to try to master this. Extend. Coil your arm down. Really exaggerate this if you want to. Bam. Give it a shot. I'd really like to see what comes out. And with your athletic instincts, your disc golf instincts, it may click instantaneously. And you may find that you're throwing the disc substantially farther with less effort, or at least matching your regular distance with abbreviated footwork, which again is always an advantage in this sport. Anytime you can club down to a slower disc and get the same result, it's an advantage. And anytime you can go slower and do things with less effort to get the same result, it's an advantage as well. Please give it a shot. Report back to me. I hope the information was good for other people in the audience as well. I'll see you guys for the next one.